Hello, Adam with AJT Design here with an instruction video. This is the cup holder and the shifter trim rings for the 2014, otherwise known as the 3rd gen Tundra. So this is a video. I'm going to show you how to install these. First thing you're going to want to do is remove, scroll down, this whole piece from your truck, and this is really easy to remove. All you need to do is open your storage console, unthread your shift knob counterclockwise, it'll come right off, and then you just grab this piece right here and you start prying. Start at one corner, this will pop up, the other one will come up, and then the whole thing will just kind of pop out and lift right up. You can see there's several retaining clips holding it on. Once you get it started, it pops right off, and when you go to put it back in, same way. Comes out really easily. With this piece removed, I'll show you how to remove the cup holder trim ring first, the chrome piece. So you will see there are 7 clips, and all you have to do is kind of press these inward, and this piece will come right out, just like that. Again, press the clips inward, this piece comes right out. The other piece, the one around the shifter, is a little bit more involved. It's held in place by clips as well as some plastic welds. There are, I believe, 5 plastic welds holding this in. These have already been drilled out, but you can see here, here, and here, and 2 up there. There's going to be some plastic welds that you're going to see. What you're going to need to do is take a drill, at least a 1/4 inch drill bit, and basically drill those out. What you want to do is drill fairly deep. You don't have to go all the way through the piece. Drill down deep, and then what you want to do is take a screwdriver or a punch, and you'll kind of need to punch each one of those to kind of set those loose. Once all the plastic welds are loose, there's some clips holding this in, and this piece will come out fairly easily. Just like that. Again, you can kind of see the clips that are holding it in, along with the plastic welds that have been drilled out. The other thing that I'll say here too, there's a little bit of cutting and stuff you have to do to remove these and install the new ones. This process is reversible. I mean, this thing pops in and out, the cup holder ring. This one will still stay in place even without the plastic welds. These clips will hold it in place. If you wanted to replace it, you could always use a little bit of glue or adhesive tape as well. Any kind of cutting or drilling that you have to do is definitely going to be covered up by our product and would be with the OEM as well, just in case you like the idea of being able to revert it back to the original parts. It's totally doable. This is not a permanent mod, so I just want to say that. With these pieces removed, the next step is going to be to install our pieces. And to do that, our pieces are held in with socket head cap screws. This one is socket head cap screws as well as some clips. This is a prototype, so we're using some adhesive tape as a helper, but the production one will be just the clips and the screws. So you just put this piece in, and this one has already been drilled, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to look down those holes. You can see those have been drilled out. What you're going to need to do is mark those. Pencil or a pen or some kind of scribe, punch the location of those holes. Then you take a 1/4 inch drill bit, remove this piece, and you're going to drill out these holes here. And what may happen, this one I was able to get and just drill it through. These ones, because they're so close to these slots, the drill kind of slipped, and what you'll end up having to do is take something like a Dremel or some cutters or a file or whatever you have to just kind of create those holes so that the screws can go through. Once it's properly drilled out and you can lay the piece over top of it, and you can see that the holes are through. Take the supplied screws. And again, these parts, we're doing these in black, white, quicksand, cement, red, and voodoo blue. And the hardware, of course, is black, silver, red, or blue. So however you want to customize it. What you want to do is drop these screws in. There'll be a supplied Allen key. It won't look like this. And you want to just make sure these can be all the way threaded down. Depending on how tight you drilled your holes, you may thread into the plastic of this piece when you're screwing these down, and that's okay. That's just going to help hold things in place all together, such is the case with mine. So then on the other side, where your screws go through, right here, there'll be a lock washer. And a jam nut you want to put in place. Yeah, just kind of tighten these by hand to start. And what you want to do, flip it back over, kind of just use your finger to hold it in place. Find them. Just screw these down, get them snug. And then for the final tight down, put a wrench on it. And these don't have to be really tight to hold it in place. What you just want to avoid is having them come loose. So you put a wrench on the back side. Yeah, you can't really reach these ones with a socket. And just give it a final little snug on all three of those, just to make sure that it's nice and tight and nothing's gonna come loose. There is a lock washer that should prevent loosening. In all the testing I've done, I've had no issues with anything vibrating loose. You can use Loctite, but you have to be really, really careful that the Loctite doesn't seep into the plastic, because the Loctite will eat the plastic that this is made out of, and presumably your console as well. So if you're very careful, use a tiny little bit. It's only on the metal. You want to use blue Loctite, you can. If you use it and it gets into the plastic and starts cracking things, that's not something that we will replace under warranty, FYI. Okay, so once that piece is in, then we can move on to the shifter trim ring. So that piece, will press that into location. Again, you'll look and you want to mark all the holes just like you did on the other one, so that you know where they are. Again, this one has already been drilled and cut out. This hole, I believe, this one on the corner, once you drill out the plastic weld, maybe it's this one. One of these two should pretty much already be done for you. Once you've drilled out the plastic weld, that hole is pretty much in place. So there's really just 3 of them. Yes, this one I believe is right where a plastic weld is. So that one's gonna be done for you. This one, it's either there or it's mostly there. So that one's pretty easy. And these 2 up here, let's see if I can get that in the camera view. There's one here and one there. Those are pretty much going to be just slots, so you're not really going to be able to use a drill. You'll want to use a Dremel or a small file or some cutters just to cut away the plastic for clearance for the bolts. So again, once you've performed that, this piece goes back on. Supplied screws. Depending on how yours fits, these may be loose, these may have to thread through the plastic to get down there. And again, if that's not necessarily a bad thing, if that's the case. Again, it's not really tight enough to hold it, but just to kind of hold it in place is actually going to help you out. Again, flip it over to the back side. If the screws are loose, you may need to use your hand to hold things in place, as that one is a little bit. And again, a little lock washer on each one of these. Jam nut. Oops, dropped it. Okay, so just get those snug, and these ones you can use a socket. This is a 7/16 7/16. So just put that on the back side, come over to the front, and just tighten this nice and snug. Again, this is all plastic parts, so you don't need to go crazy on the torque here, but just nice and snug here so everything's held in place. Kind of just work your way around, kind of feel what's there. There's that one. It's the last one here. There we go. So that's really all there is to it. It's really a fairly easy install. When you do the drilling and cutting for the holes, that's probably the most time-consuming part, but it's really not that difficult. And again, even if those cuts turn out to be a little bit ugly, it's all covered up in the final product. If you want to put the factory ones back on at any time, it's all covered up. Could all be back to your original if you want it. But anyways, that's the product. That's the install. Thanks for watching.